Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome to the stage SARRC's Chief Science Officer, Dr. Christopher J. Smith.
When SARRC was founded in 1997, autism prevalence was 1 in 2,500. Today, it's 1 in 31. And I'm sure everybody is wondering, what's happening? Why are we seeing so much autism today? Well, we know that part of the increase is due to broadening diagnostic criteria, increased awareness, and better access to diagnostics. That all represents real scientific progress. When prevalence rates were lower, there were too many people who were flying under the radar of our diagnostic system. So the diagnostic system was revised to clearly identify all the people who needed help. As the criteria broadened, so did the spectrum. And it now includes so much variability that it's hard to believe that it reflects one single condition. We needed more research to firmly identify the differences. While SARRC has always maintained a strong and consistent research portfolio, we focus on improving outcomes for individuals with autism and their families. To help address bigger questions, like understanding variability on the spectrum, we also contribute to collaborative efforts like SPARC for Autism, a national project to create a large repository of genetic and behavioral data from families all over the country. As one of the largest contributing sites, SARRC has enrolled over 1,000 families in this project. As a result, the data that we collect here in Arizona is used in hundreds of studies and will continue to support research into the future. One research study brings sharper definition of the meaning of the autism spectrum. The study was published in Nature Genetics, and it included data from more than 5,000 families in the SPARC repository. The researchers were able to create behavioral and genetic profiles for each autistic individual, and the work revealed 4 distinct subtypes. Each of them showed its own pattern of behavior, its own developmental trajectory, and importantly, its own genetic profile. They called the first subtype broadly affected, and it includes those with severe impairments in daily functioning. They have minimal or no meaningful language and require lifelong intensive support. This subtype has similar features to profound autism, a label to describe those who require 24-hour care and to differentiate them from autistic individuals with more skills. The second subtype is mixed presentation. Individuals in this group have a language delay and intellectual impairments. Ultimately, they can develop functional language with the right treatment. Co-occurring conditions are less common than seen in other subtypes, and while they may have high support needs into adulthood, they can eventually demonstrate an individualized level of independence, again, with the right treatment. The third subtype is the social behavioral group, and it includes individuals with comparatively milder symptoms. However, they still experience lifelong challenges that can be difficult to overcome without treatment. This group has a higher likelihood of co-occurring conditions like anxiety, depression, and attention difficulties. The social behavioral group is similar to Asperger's, which was eventually included under autism spectrum disorder in 2013 when formal diagnostic criteria changed. Before individuals in this group may not have qualified for evidence-based treatment, and that would have helped them build skills to overcome their functional impairment. And the fourth subtype includes those with moderate challenges. They demonstrate less obvious symptoms overall and have fewer co-occurring conditions, but many in this category still need support. This subtype has more subtle impairments, which can sometimes lead to a later diagnosis. As young children, they may have had just enough skills to fly under anyone's radar. While these individuals meet current diagnostic criteria, they probably wouldn't have in our previous, more restrictive system, and therefore they wouldn't have been considered on the spectrum or been able to access treatment for their challenges. What makes this finding so important is not just that these groups have different presentations and support needs, is that they are different at a genetic level. The genetic patterns associated with each subtype are clearly distinct from each other. which adds greater validity to these findings. And now we can build on this information to ultimately provide better support in the future. So just imagine the progress we can make now that we can categorize the spectrum into 4 distinct subtypes. Instead of waiting for symptoms to emerge, a genetic test in infancy will be able to confirm autism and identify the subtype. And that information can be hugely advantageous to have as early as possible, so treatment planning can be more precise and begin sooner. And because these subtypes are linked to distinct genetic and biological pathways, pharmaceutical companies can develop new medications that are targeted to those underlying mechanisms. So why are we seeing so much autism in the world today? Because we are finally seeing the whole spectrum under one umbrella and starting to understand the differences, which has important implications for how SARRC will support our families. We rely heavily on evidence-based decision-making in everything that we do for the autism community. This kind of research adds clarity to complexity. And the sooner we understand, the sooner we can act in ways that will make meaningful differences. This is what good science does. It turns uncertainty into understanding, and that understanding can bring hope to an entire community. Thank you.